So why do we have blood? Beautiful. Excellent answer. That's right. So the how of your circulatory system is blood and veins and arteries and hearts. But the why, I like the name circulatory. See, calling it the cardiovascular system is sort of an anatomical description, right? Like, that's what it's made of. Cardios is heart, vascular is the veins and arteries, so it's the veins and the arteries and the heart. But the circulatory system is a physiological description of it. It's describing its function, its purpose, which is circulation. What does it mean to circulate something? Yeah, to move something kind of around, to loop it around, to move it in a circle throughout. If you talk about a book being in circulation at the library, it means that they lend it out, then it comes back, then they lend it out again, then it comes back. We move it around from place to place as needed. Yeah. Sorry? I've got to be honest with you. I'm an old man whose ears have been... Yeah, very good. Exactly right. Constantly in motion. Yeah, guys, I'm very sorry. It's weird to me when I can't hear something. That didn't used to happen to me. But here we are. I'm older now, and sometimes I just can't seem to be able to hear things, so you might have to shout at me, which you may feel inclined to do anyways, so this could be your excuse. You can put your hand up and ask a question. I could be like, yes, and you can be like, Mr. Orlando. I'll be like, thank you for speaking up. I appreciate it. So the function of the circulatory system is transportation. And what are some of the things that are transported by your circulatory system? We already mentioned it. Oxygen is probably the number one thing in terms of both volume and regularity. Your body can live without a lot of things for a pretty substantial amount of time. Individual cells have storage. Your body has storage. Oxygen gets burned up at an alarming rate. And so your body just constantly needs fresh supplies of oxygen. And so it constantly has to be moved around. Because all your cells, every time they burn a sugar molecule to get some energy to do stuff, they need oxygen to do that. And in the absence of oxygen, they can't do that. Asterisks, except when they can. And so your body needs a fresh supply of oxygen, yeah. Yep, absolutely. So glucose, and I'm going to put more generally nutrients, right? Absolutely. What else?
Mr. Winger, please contact the office.
Yeah.
I think you missed this.
No, it's the... Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say the blood doesn't get transported by the circulatory system. I'm rather going to say that blood is part of the circulatory system, but you're right. It's the mechanism by all this happens. That's what we're going to write about next, but I'm not going to write it here as what gets transported. Is that fair? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Water is interesting in that it fills both roles, because water is part of the mechanism of this, i.e., we require water for our circulatory system to work, but then one of the things that's moving all around the body is water. Yeah. Yes, Aiden. That's totally true. I'm not going to write it because it's another one of these mechanistic things, because that's actually how the oxygen moves around. But you're totally right. Don't worry, we're going to write it in like 4 minutes, okay? I promise. I'm not letting you down. Yeah. Yes. Like, absolutely true. Again, I'm going to put that under the category of mechanism, so we are going to write that. We're going to write that in a minute. But yeah, no, you're absolutely true. It's red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, and I'm going to put that in a broad category of waste. CO2, etc. CO2 is the biggest one. Because again, every time we use an oxygen molecule to burn a sugar in our body, we produce a Yeah, Yeah, good. You guys are clever. A CO2 molecule. Every single time we use an oxygen molecule to burn a sugar, we're getting a carbon dioxide as waste. And so exactly as much oxygen as we breathe in, we have to breathe out CO2. For every oxygen that comes in, a CO2 has to go out. And for us, that's a waste product. For a tree, it's an essential nutrient for them to undergo photosynthesis. But for us, it's a byproduct. It's a leftover, and our body has to get rid of it, so it carries it in the blood. Absolutely. But also all kinds of waste products. What else? What else? Well, interestingly, messages. Which, like, we take for granted now because you guys can use the internet. But until, 30 years ago, if you wanted to send somebody a message, you'd call them on the phone. Or if you wanted to, you could send it by mail. You'd write it on a piece of paper. But then somebody had to take that and put it in a truck and drive it around to a place where they'd sort it all out, put it in another truck, drive it around, put it in another, maybe on a train. And eventually some guy is going to carry it and hand it, right? So if the cardiovascular system is like the highway system of the body, messages can be sent along. And when they're bigger messages or messages you want to send to everyone, we do that. In the form of what? How does your body send chemical messages? Obviously, we can use our nerves to send electric messages, right? Those can be very specific. Your nerves can send a message to this muscle saying, okay, flex now. But what if I wanted to send a message to my body to all the muscles to say, get amped up right now. Tense up, get lots of sugar into yourselves, and let's get ready for action. Am I going to send that along every nerve in my body? No, I'm going to use... Adrenaline's an example of, absolutely, of a broader category of things called hormones. Very good. So your blood can be used to transmit messages in the forms of hormones. Here's an interesting one. Heat. Your blood allows your body to move heat from one place to another. This is important. Your body has to maintain, your core organs have to maintain a pretty specific temperature to function well. Does anyone know roughly what human body temperature is in Celsius? Sorry?
20 degrees?
Nope, that's room temperature. Yeah, about 36.8 plus or minus about a degree. So that is human body temperature. If you are just about a degree and a half above that, that is potentially deadly. What do we call that? A fever, yeah. And just a couple of degrees can kill you. And if you're just a couple of degrees below that at your core body temperature, that can also kill you. What do we call that? Yeah, in fact, the technical terms are hyperthermia, overheat, though we normally just call it a fever. Fever is actually all the symptoms associated with hyperthermia. And hypothermia, right? Excessive temperature, a tiny little window. Now, the crazy thing is, that's at your core, your brain, your heart, your lungs, your viscera. Your fingers can get much, much colder than that. And surely you've experienced that, right? Somebody's hands can be quite cold. Your cheeks can get much colder than that. You find your legs. Your extremes don't need to be at such a temperature. So if you're in a place that is way too hot, your body's going to make sure your core doesn't overheat by using the blood to let blood flow go to your extremes. When you're really hot, lots of blood flows to your extremes, and then we release your glands here, release sweat, and we get rid of it. We use all kinds of methods to get that heat out of the body. We put lots of blood flow to your extremes, and then we sweat so that when air blows across it, it evaporates. If you're in my chemistry class right now, you know that evaporating any liquid into a gas will absorb heat, and we get rid of it. On the other hand, when it's really cold out, your body will reduce blood flow to your extremes, which is why it feels very hard to move your muscles and why you feel kind of weird and tingly sometimes in the cold. But it will keep that blood circulating through your core to keep your temperature where it should be. So your body can move heat around as it needs to maintain that. I worked with a professor at Brock named Glenn Tattersall, and he published a famous paper in Nature, famous if you're into this sort of thing, but he was the first person to demonstrate conclusively that toucans use their big beak to cool off. He went out in the wild and was able to photograph them and see that they actually will on a hot day, will massively increase blood flow to their beaks. And a beak doesn't have to have blood flowing to it, but the toucan's does. There's actually tons of blood vessels in there, and it will use it like the radiator in a car. And it will actually dip it in water and let the water evaporate and do that over and over again and cool itself off. And on cold days, it will actually shut off blood flow to its beak to conserve temperature. Dogs do this with their tongues. Yeah, look at you. Got a biologist here. So your body can regulate the heat of itself by using blood to move that heat around. Questions about that? There are other things the body moves, so we'll throw a good old-fashioned etc. in here. Yeah.
Can you go down?
Like this way?
No.
This way?
Yeah.
Yes. No, I'm here for you.
This noise reminds me of when he was teaching
Yeah. This, I grew up on job sites. My dad's a carpenter. And so the sound of people working is like very comforting for me, but I'm quickly discovering it isn't very comforting to my ability to communicate information in a manner I consider clear.
Try to refocus every so often.
The old ADHD, she's fighting me, but that's okay. Just want to go up there and be like, can I angle grind? I love using an angle grinder. Anyway. So the anatomy of circulation is a fluid called blood moving through tubes called blood vessels. Moved by a pump called what do we call the pump for our circulatory system? The heart. Very good. It's actually a very simple system in basics. It's no different than if you look, we're installing a sprinkler system whose job is to move water from the main water valve, in the mechanical room of this building to wherever a fire might be. And so what do we have? Well, there's a big pump, in Welland that pumps water, and a big water tower to make sure that pressure gets equalized. But a big pumping station that pumps water, and then that water moves through a bunch of tubes. And as we get closer to where we're going to use it, the tubes get smaller and smaller because we don't ever need to use, this massive chunk of water like this to take a shower, pound you into the pavement, right? So we move it into smaller and smaller tubes. And if you look now, if you go out in the hall, you'll see big tubes like this for the water to move into. But then when it goes into an individual room, I don't have a pipe like that coming in here. I have a pipe like this, right? We move them into smaller and smaller tubes. And then finally, at the last step, we move it into this small little tube like this that will let a little bit out, right? That's basically how your circulatory system works. You have a pump, the heart, that beats, and coming out of the heart and into the heart are big tubes like this, because they have to supply the whole body. And then they start to branch off and branch off and branch off and go to all the different places, until eventually they're tiny little tubes that surround all of your cells in a network. But these are all called blood vessels. And then there's a whole second set of them whose job is to take the blood back to the heart, right? Does that kind of make sense? So that we have a similar thing where we have a whole bunch of pipes that supply water to places. And then we have a whole second set of pipes whose job is to collect that water and take it out, right? So it's actually very similar to how the blood vessels in your body work. We've got a whole set of pipes whose job is to get water to each cell. And then we have a whole set of pipes whose job is to get blood from the cells back to where it's going. No different than all the pipes we have to supply water to our sinks, and then all the pipes underneath that take water away. And just like with your sink, you might ask, what the hell is the point of spending thousands of dollars to run all kinds of pipes to a sink if all you're going to do is underneath it spend thousands of dollars again to build a whole bunch of pipes to take that water away? Well, the answer is that at the sink, we need the water to do stuff. Clean things, fill up a pot, whatever, right? Likewise, in your body, at each cell, we need to use the blood to do stuff. So we need a whole system of pipes to get blood there. And then we need a whole system of pipes to take the blood back away. Does that make sense? Cool. Today we're going to focus on blood. Yeah.
Is there like a more scientific word for blood, or is it just blood?
Blood is the scientific name. Yeah, it feels
Things have like
like it should be called like,
a more sciencey word.
yeah. No, I mean,
Blood is just blood.
yeah, blood is blood.
What's blood in Latin?
Ooh. I'm going to assume it's, ready, let me start by saying I have no idea, but we know in French blood is sang, right? So I'm going to bet that it shares a root with that. Now, sang in and of itself doesn't sound very Latin, so I'm going to bet it's a mildly dissimilar. Let's find out. Blood in Latin. Sanguis. There we go. There we go. And so if somebody is cold-blooded, we say they have sang-froid. Or if somebody is... Anyway, if somebody is sort of cold-blooded, we will sometimes describe them as sanguid, right?
Is there a history, but like, is there a reason why they're called that?
Now, blood itself, probably, what do we think that must come from the English? Like either the Old English or from like the Germanic? What do we think? What's our guess? Germanic or Old English? What's the German word for blood? Do we know? I bet you it's B-L-U-D.
That's what I thought.
The umlaut? Do the Germans do the umlaut on a U? I don't know.
If it is, I said like,
Oh, look at that lovely picture. God, what I would give to no longer have these. Can I tell you something, by the way? Never trust these AI summaries. They're a nightmare. They lie to you.
I really wanted to, you know when it used to take it from reliable sites and give you that little text box?
Much better.
I
Much
love
better.
that.
Much better. But even then, you got to learn to be effective Googlers, and I'm sure AI will get there one day.
time to be an effective Googler. Like,
I'm going to come over there right now, and I'm going to start pummeling you mercilessly. Like, oh no, don't. I haven't finished. First, I'm going to find something heavy and wooden, and I'm going to use. Do you know who you're talking to? I don't have time to Google effectively. Do you know what Googling effectively looked like in 1997? It looked like walking to the library, opening a whole thing of cards, and like looking through it, and then getting a book and reading the whole book in hopes that you would find your information out of time to scroll down a page.
your face is having a
No, guys, this is not fake. Look at me. Shh, quiet. Everyone be quiet. Look at me. Look at me. You do not want to be the generation that forgot how to be smart. All right? You don't. You don't want to be the generation where they go, hey, when did humanity go off the rails and just everyone was stupid? Oh, this time, like right here. Don't be those people. All right? It has, put your hand down. It has never been easier to find information in the history of humanity. And the fact that you might have to flip past a couple of pages of nonsense before you get to the good information, or you might have to read a few words to go. The fact that you might have to read a few words and ask yourself, does this sound like a reliable answer? Maybe I'll look at two sources. It has never been easier to find information. There is no excuse for finding bad information. It's ridiculous. Do you know what people had to do 200 years ago to answer questions like this? They had to like trek across mountains to find wise people. Like, I'm not kidding. It's not a joke. It's ridiculous how easy it is to find information today. And if you can't be bothered to put the little bit of energy in to make sure that the information you're finding makes sense and is logical and reasonable, because the first TikTok post you saw about something was like, well, that was flashy and it was a 15-second thing where somebody also danced, so that's probably true. Or, well, the AI summary at the top of my Google search told me that was correct. There is no excuse for that. It is inexcusable. It's a moral failing. It really is. The idea that you have access to this information that people in the past would have died to have access to, like literally did die to. Do you have any idea what books cost 200 years ago? if you want to learn something. Even like when I was a kid, every house had a set of encyclopedia, which cost like the equivalent of like 3 months' wages to buy. But like families would buy them and like pay them off in installments so they could have access to information. You'd have a dictionary in your house that cost like a few $100 back when you were making $3 an hour, so that you'd have access to information so you could know something when you needed to know it. And the idea that now we can't be bothered to do a little bit of work to search and find things accurately, inexcusable, like morally inexcusable. Do better. Yes.
I was gonna say, if I'm actually trying to, this is my entire point. I was gonna say, if I'm actually trying to learn something, I do my research. But if I'm having a disagreement with someone, and they're in front of me, and I'm like, let me Google it, and it shows the AI thing, I just read out what the AI thing says.
Okay, we'll move on.
It's gonna crash out again.
Steve always says never believe me.
Yes. I'm with Steve. Listen, I don't know who Steve is. No, it's Steve from Rose City Kids. Listen. Listen. Do you know what? Do you know what? I do actually, from Rose City Kids.
Yeah, you do.
See, there you go. See, there we go. Anyway. I'm getting red in the face, team. I'm getting red in the face. Anyway. The Old English blood fluid which circulates in the arteries and veins, from the Proto-Germanic bloedum, blood, also source of the Old Frisian blood, the Saxon blood, and the Old Norse blood, Middle Dutch blot, let's say, Dutch blood, I'm assuming, Old High German blut, German blut, Gothic blop, question mark. Can I tell you, I wish we called it blop. Oh man, I got a cut, now there's blop everywhere. That's better, right? I was oh man, I was blopping all over
We need a bag of blob. Imagine doing that in a hospital.
Anyway.
He needs a transfusion of blob.
Anyway. And now, shh. And then listen, this is a key thing. Whenever you're looking up etymology and you get these according to some sources, this is where things we come from. Does anyone know what PIE is? Proto-Indo-European. Proto-Indo-European. This is a theoretical language that predates. We know that all of the sort of Indo and European languages have some common ancestral language, and they call that sort of language we know nothing about Proto-Indo-European. So when you see PIE in an etymological dictionary, that's what they're talking about. As soon as you get to something in Proto-Indo-European, this is supposed, like this is an assumption. This is somebody's theory. So at this stage in the reading, you got to know, like, this is an idea that somebody has, but we can't be confident in it. But there is some belief that it might perhaps come from something mean to swell, to gush, to spurt, or that which burst out, by comparing the Gothic blop, blood, and bloma, flower, but this is all suppositional. You got to be careful. You don't want to take the second half of these etymological dictionary entries too seriously, because there's always a bit of guesswork going on. Is that a hand? Wikipedia is great. Wikipedia is a wonderful source because it is vetted by real people, and the nerds out there who are really into something keep their eyes on those Wikipedia pages, and you should go in. You can see all the edit history of every Wikipedia article. You can see every edit that's ever been made, and even better, you can see the fights that go on behind the scenes between editors trying to agree on what it is, and it gets intense. It is vetted by people who are highly interested and engaged, and when they can't agree on something, they put both in and state that it's a source of disagreement. It's a wonderful source. Wikipedia is one of the great human inventions, I really do believe. It's a wonderful thing, and it's efficient. It is a much better place to look for information. The only problem with Wikipedia is that it gets quite sophisticated quite quickly. When you look something on Wikipedia, it's often a very high-level explanation, and sometimes you're not looking for a high-level explanation. You know, sometimes you're just kind of looking to get the gist, and Wikipedia can be a bad place to get the gist because the nerds get their hand on it and things get pretty technical pretty quickly, but it's a great source. Yeah.
I always thought you were the teacher that didn't want us using it.
No, Wikipedia is the first place to go.
Use it and then be like, oh, I can't put
No. Now, to be clear, you can't cite Wikipedia in an academic setting, but in a high school setting where you're learning how something works, I think it's totally appropriate. And then in an academic setting still, it's the first place I go. And then the nice thing with Wikipedia is it gives you its sources. And so then when the time comes that you actually need to go somewhere and actually cite something, you can kind of follow its rabbit hole and go, this paragraph I just read, that's perfect. Look, here's its source. Go there, read that, now cite that. No, Wikipedia is your best bet for a first place to go. as long as, like I said, it will get technical pretty quickly. So in a science class, sometimes you'll go there and it will start using all kinds of acronyms and all kinds of crazy things, and you'll find yourself going, I have no idea what this is talking about. And in that case, you might want to find a more simplified source, like something sort of textbooky or something, whatever. But no, it's a wonderful source. It is a tremendous human invention, right? Because we used to pay thousands of dollars for encyclopedias that sat in books and you had to go look them up and go. And now you have one that's freely available online. I mean, you can make donations. I donate to Wikipedia every year. But then the other thing is it's constantly being updated, right? Like it is constantly up to date. Down to like that weird thing of like somebody passes away and then like, that like you can hear about it. And like, if you go to their Wikipedia entry right now, somebody already will have changed it. Like, it's actually pretty crazy how like quickly these things get edited. Anyway, so there we go. So now back to blood. Blood is a fluid with suspended material. So it's a suspension of cells.
It's supposed to be is a suspension.
Sorry, what's that? Sorry, you had a question?
What did you say that fluid was? You said blood is in a suspension.
Yeah, it's a suspension of cells in a fluid
Oh, I wrote mine.
that moves through the body.
I was writing it how you were saying it.
Yeah,
so I wrote blood.
Oh, I'm
is a
sorry.
fluid with
I'm
suspension.
sorry. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. That was a nightmare of
I
a
wrote
sentence.
10. We've had this conversation.
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry. And I apologize. I appreciate that. No, I genuinely do. I hate to set you straight. So, if you were to take, if you were to look at, okay, ready? Here's a torso. There's a person's torso. Okay, it looks really good. And then there's the heart, and there's a blood vessel. If we were to take that and zoom in, we would see a blood vessel, which is actually composed of a fluid full of individual cells.
I don't think I can draw that amazingly.
You know what? I think you can. I have faith in you. So, again, what we have here is oh my. So we have cells in the fluid, which is known as plasma, blood plasma. The rough composition.
I'm gonna look at this later and have to note this out.
I often find that when I look back at my notes and look at the drawings, I'm like, did I get hit on the head right before beginning this drawing? Was there like a massive cranial impact? But would it help if I gave him a head? I'm not good at drawing. Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Huge tracks. Oh my God,
Right?
it's crazy.
And a neck. He's got a neck. No legs, though. No legs. He suffered it was an unfortunate industrial accident, which also left his hands very jagged. Yeah. Yeah. Has anyone ever read Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace? It's like a great book. It's a wonderful book, but how would you describe its plot? It has a sort of Byzantine plot, but it centers around a theoretical physicist who's also an amateur filmmaker who makes a movie so entertaining that anyone who watches it literally amuses themselves to death and just sort of stares at it until they die. And then a bunch of, and a nuclear war has happened, and so now they refer to America as the Great Concavity. But anyway, a bunch of wheelchair-bound assassins from Quebec have stolen this tape to try to use it as a, when you say it out loud, this book sounds weird. But anyway, so they've stolen this tape and they're trying to use it, and it centers around the actions of the son of the guy who invented this, who also happens to run a tennis academy in Massachusetts. Okay, so saying it out loud, Infinite Jest, it's a great book. But these assassins from Quebec, their tradition is they lay on railroad tracks and let the trains take their legs off as like their initiation to join this group of assassins. So that could be this guy. Anyway, Infinite Jest, good book. So blood is roughly half plasma and half cells by volume. So if you were to okay. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay, no problem. So blood is roughly half plasma and half cells by volume. In fact, if you take a test tube or a vial of blood, if you take a test tube of blood and you put it on a centrifuge, have you guys seen, we have a centrifuge in the back, we just have a microcentrifuge, one that just takes little capsules, but if you take that and you run it in a centrifuge, which looks like this, it looks a little, just, you know what guys, just bear with me, okay, I'm doing my best, and that's got spin. Okay, ready? Okay, change of plan. If we spin it quickly. Okay, that's better, right? No, that's good, okay.
And, you know, it doesn't look as cool.
What do I do with That's really not worried.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Oh. Okay, that's a good-looking centrifuge. Yeah, that thing, just like what I drew.
Are you talking about the little ones? No.
No, I'm not done. Listen, I'm not done yet.
Permission to take that photo?
I'm not. Funny you should ask, because we're gonna draw it. We're gonna have help this time. Yes, sure. You can draw whatever you want. Good artists borrow, great artists steal. You never heard this?
Yeah. I'm gonna click that if I use a picture without Creative Commons license or whatever.
No, we're not using. I just told you we're not using the picture.
So you're doing something worse.
No. You're taking credit for someone else's photo.
Okay.
By definition, that you're using the photo to draw it, therefore you're using the photo.
Oh, we're getting all smart.
You know, I always find when a sentence ends with therefore, I feel like I must be proven wrong. Quiet you. Shut up, nerd. Where was I?
You're doing so bad.
You know what? I'm doing my best. God. I feel so attacked. I'm doing my best. Guys, it's the best I can do, okay? It's the best I can do. Okay, you know what?
I think I like this. Yeah, I think I like this.
Now, ready? Now, can we just go run on the track? I feel so attacked. Okay, you know what? I don't need your criticism. I'm doing my best. It's the best I know how, and now I can't get the picture. Oh, I had it! Guys, I had it. Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sad. Sorry? I wouldn't say this is going well, no. There we go. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's okay, you know what? You know what? I think it looks really good. So if you put it in the centrifuge and spin it, what's a centrifuge's job? What does it do? It spins around, and it will eventually take the heaviest things in a suspension and move them to the bottom because it spins on an angle, and the lighter things will move to the top. And so if you take blood and you spin it down, which some years I've actually had my friend who is a nurse come in and do this. Like he will draw my blood and will spin it down. One year I had my wife come and draw my blood and spin it down. But you actually...
They're dropping stuff. Somebody's not.
No, they're dropping stuff. Sorry? What'd you say?
Wait.
What about Mr. Ventnor?
I said his room is getting destroyed right now, but then I thought about what's above us, and it's probably not Mr. Ventnor's.
Yeah, right above us is the old computer lab, which then for the last few years has been one of the bridge program rooms. There's some talk that that's going to be Beccaro's new room. I don't know if that's true or not, but it'll be a much nicer space for her, a lot bigger. And she can get all her stuff in there.
Psychology right now, and it's like the worst thing ever because it's so.
It's really tight? Yeah, so it'd be nice to have more room. Yeah, exactly. So, this is the plasma. These are red cells, red blood cells. And these are white blood cells. So you can see by this image that the blood is, by volume, almost 50% cellular, and the overwhelming majority of those cells are what type? Red blood cells. Good. If you wrote this a little bit, so it's falling off the page, you could just slide it on over, and no one has to know. So that's the basic breakdown of the blood. So what are all of these things? Well, let's take a look at them. First, plasma. Plasma is the water-based fluid component of blood. I'm not going to write of blood because I think that's obvious since we're talking about blood. The water-based fluid component, it has many dissolved solutes. From chemistry class, what's a solute?
Something that
Can dissolve is solvent, is dissolved is the solute. Yeah, so the solvent dissolves the solute. So in this case, the plasma is the solvent. The solute is all the stuff that's dissolved in it. Just a few of the things that are dissolved in it. Sugars. So your blood sugars are found in your plasma, not in any of your cells. Waste. Yeah.
What color is plasma? Because I know when it's separated from the blood, it's like yellow.
It's yellowy, yeah.
So, right.
And you've seen this before. Have you ever had a cut that is mostly healed up, and there's no more red blood coming out, but there's still that kind of yellow, gooey kind of stuff? That's your blood plasma. Have you never had? Or if you pick a scab, sometimes if you pick it just right, yellow fluid will come out, but not blood.
I've only seen clear fluid.
Do you not pick a scab? Can I tell you? You're always looking at a scab, and I'm always like, don't pick it, just let it heal. And I'm like, oh, I'm pulling that thing off. I'm going to pull it off so good. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. What is it? Is anyone else like that, or am I the only weirdo? You are too? Thank you, guys. This has been good for me. I feel like there's strength in numbers. Yeah. Yeah, so that would be this too, and it looks clear because it's just so thin. It's very faintly colored. It's not like it's like neon yellow. It's pretty faint yellow. If you were to collect it to the point where it could kind of show you its color, it has a yellowish color to it. But it's not by any means like highlighter yellow, or like, the yellow we showed up here. It's a lot fainter than that. Though there are other fluids in the body that can run clear, but blood plasma in low volumes would basically appear to be clear. But if you see it sort of in a higher volume, you can see it has a yellow tinge to it. There are sugars dissolved in it, waste, nutrients for cells, hormones, and all kinds of other things. If you get your blood tested, they will test for all kinds of different things. Has anyone had their blood tested for various things? When they send that form in, you've seen like the form that you take to Life Labs or whatever.
Blood tests.
I love it. And And you can see all the things they can check off to test for, right? There's all kinds of things they can test for the concentration of in your blood. Are they present? And if they are present, how much are they present? Most of those are things that are just dissolved in the plasma. Does that make sense? Obviously, the main function of the plasma, in addition to dissolving all this stuff, is it allows blood to flow. Through vessels. Let me tell you, I discover new sounds every day with this crew up there.
What is that noise?
That is hammering something.
That's gonna drive me.
Why don't you make like shut down
Oh, this is
like
actually
record all
great.
And then like long after the construction is done, just keep, once we've all gotten used to it, just keep playing it. I like it. Well, I find, I'm not kidding, right now while this is going on up there, I find by the end of the day, I'm like, really like overstimulated. Again, it would be if I were on the job site. I like the sound of a job site when you're on it, but I think when I'm working, but trying to concentrate about blood plasma while hearing like it's a bit much, you know, for me. That might help you. That doesn't, I like a bit of white noise. I don't like, because I can't even like, and I'm convinced that nobody can actually. I have this firm belief that the things we put on that quote unquote make us work better actually just make us work less, which we find comforting. So I think when people are like, oh, I work better with music, what you actually mean is that you spend more time paying attention to the music, a little bit of time working, and like that reduced cognitive load is nice for you. That, like, I'm serious. But I think when you're actually really focused on a task, I think anything that kind of demands your attention obviously is gonna, and some tasks benefit from having, you know what I mean? Like taking your concentration elsewhere and then back. But if you're ever doing something that really is, like if you're trying to do serious math, anyone who tells you that like they want music with lyrics or like TV on or something while they're doing serious math, like it's just not true. Like your brain simply can't be processing these two things at once. So I think like there's something about trying to focus cognitively with lots of distractors that can be very exhausting. Like it can really take a lot out of you. Yeah.
For me, if I'm like home alone doing work, I don't need music.
Yeah.
It's fine. But if I'm in like a classroom,
Music.
I would rather hear music than other people.
Music is way less distracting than somebody else's conversation.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. And especially music that either has lyrics you don't kind of care to pay attention to, or that you know really well, so you're not straining to hear them.
Music, I know like word for word.
Exactly. Because if you're listening to like a new song, your brain's going to be thinking about the music and not. But if it's something that can fade into the background, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or instrumental music's good for that. Like I actually really like classical music or jazz or electronic music for doing work because it really does activate a whole different. Yeah. Yeah. Because the other thing is you don't want a song that you really love and you're going to be like, oh, I'm into this, I'm going to sing along. Because that's also not helpful.
Throw on like songs that I like know
Yeah.
word for word.
Yeah, I think that's the sweet spot, right? That kind of song that's not going to distract you, but that, yeah, absolutely. So that's the plasma portion. Now, when we get to the cellular portion, we're going to start with erythrocytes.
That is like, I don't know why, but the noise beforehand was no noise. After something to me is just brutal.
It's kind of beat. It's kind of.
Hi. Say. Yeah, go nuts. What are erythrocytes? We should beautiful. We should recognize the site ending as referring to cell, and erythro, if we know our Latin. Oh, hello. Wow, that looks a lot like my drawing. This one's not Latin, this one's Greek, pardon me. Erythro comes from the Greek word erythros, meaning red. So in this case, if you speak a bit of Greek and a bit of Latin, these are red cells. These are your red blood cells. But their medical name or their physiological name is erythrocytes. These are red blood cells. Again, so much anatomy, once you start to, so then you'll see things like erythromycin, and that's literally like, as soon as you see erythro, you're like, oh, it's going to be red, right? Like, once you start to learn what the prefixes mean, as soon as you hear cyte, you're like, oh, that's a type of cell, right? So once you start to learn the prefixes and the suffixes, these names will come to you very quickly and they'll make sense. And again, we use Latin because that doesn't advantage English speakers over French speakers or Mandarin speakers or whatever. Though really, it still gives an advantage to French, to Spanish, and Italian speakers, the Romance languages, because most of their words come from Latin. It puts us in a pretty good shape because about half of our words come from Latin. So half the time these words sound familiar to us and half the time they don't. And you'd still obviously be at a disadvantage if you're in a non-Latin-based language. But anyway, erythrocytes, red blood cells. This makes up the overwhelming majority of cells in blood.
At least they're being like polite with it.
No, they're lovely. They're super nice guys.
Like the ones before weren't very polite, but like now this sounds kind of.
Yeah, no, they're super nice. They just have a job to do, right? Like anyone else. They gotta do their job.
I've done it several times.
Probably with you person, but we don't talk about that.
I'll keep my distance.
No, not to you.
Well, that's good to know. They have what's called a biconcave disc shape. What's concave mean? Kind of like this, right? Like that, inward shape like that. What does bi as a prefix mean? Two. And a disc, we're pretty comfortable with that. So the shape is kind of like this, right? Where it is concave on the two flat surfaces, sort of inward like that. In fact, when you look at them under a microscope, they all often look donut-like. They look like they have a hole in the middle. They don't. It's just that they're very thin in the middle, and so the red color isn't nearly as pronounced. So they have this biconcave disc shape. Put those there specifically for that example. And I'm feeling smug that I remembered. I put them there. So from above, they look sort of like this, where you have this view of them above where there is sort of a dark red region that looks there, and then you'll have a very light red region in the inside, and it can again make it look kind of donut shaped. It can make it look as though they are hollow. So if that's from above, if you imagine from the side, they kind of look like this.
I honestly don't know how to write.
You know what? I'm doing my best, team, okay? Doing my best.
Oh, this looks not.
It's a donut.
Well, it's.
That's a dodgeball. That's a red ball.
I'm not being inappropriate. I'm just choosing to not look up. Okay, you're not all
Aiden, calm down. God. How was that? Was that good?
Yeah, thank you. He said I wasn't Orlando, so I said
Orlando's the only person that can say that to me. Nobody else says
Oh, I feel so honored. You know what? Just for that, you can tell me to calm down if I'm getting out of control. Next time someone's like, I believe whatever AI tells me, and I start freaking out, you can just be like, Orlando, calm down.
Yo, that was like, I haven't seen.
Was my vein going?
I've seen you get mad.
Did my dad vein come out?
Over the lectern and every.
The old dad vein got going. Rah! So here is this. I don't love this model actually, to be honest, but not bad. Wonder if we can do better than that. Sketchfab. If you don't know about Sketchfab, it's just a place you can find 3D models of stuff. These aren't like they're just people can make them. Like you could make something and throw it on Sketchfab. So you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, but it can be a great way to visualize stuff. So here's a good example. I kind of like this. And some of the anatomy stuff on Sketchfab is sensational. It's stuff you would have paid thousands of dollars for in software a few years ago. So here they've kind of cut one open to sort of show you the basic idea. But that's a pretty good representation in 3D of what these kind of look like. Does that make sense? This is what I have attempted to draw.
Students, please
I will not.
remember that all grade 12 students are asked to report to period 4 classes for attendance and then make their way to the library for a grade 12 meeting. Thank you.
Grade 12 meeting.
It was sent on the sorry, you just-
Okay. What is the purpose of your red blood cells? Very good. They carry oxygen through the body. They carry oxygen bound to a molecule called what? Aiden, what's the molecule called that oxygen binds to in the blood? Hemoglobin, exactly. It could have been if I'd just focus.
I can't think.
By the way, you will sometimes see the British spelling of this, where they include this A.
Don't you always go back and forth about one word about the spelling?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them that I kind of go back and forth on. But just be aware that if you see that, it's not a spelling error. It's just a different accepted way of spelling. Heme, H-A-E-M, as a prefix meaning blood is one you'll come across. Hemocrit is like a blood cell count, things like that. Hemoglobin is a large protein. Contains iron atoms. Most proteins are just carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, maybe a bit of sulfur. So the fact that this protein contains iron atoms is really significant. This is basically the only place in your body that iron shows up, and it shows up a lot. In fact, I give blood every 3 weeks. I have a liver condition, and my liver produces far too much hemoglobin. I have far too much iron in my body, and that's actually a problem because it makes your blood really thick. And the result of that is your heart has to pump a lot harder to make it move, so I have an elevated blood pressure. So I have to give blood every 3 weeks to keep my iron count down low so I don't die of a heart attack. But I give blood here all the time, and they have a quick test they do to test your iron count before you give blood. But I gave blood in Haiti, and they use the old-fashioned technique. And do you know what they do there to test if your blood has enough iron for you to give safely? It's actually really cool. They just take a pin and they prick your finger and they get a bit of blood and they drop a few drops of your blood into a test tube of water. And if you have high levels of hemoglobin, what does your blood do? It sinks right to the bottom. And if you have low iron, it will float. And so that's all they do to test if you have sufficient iron to give. They just drop your blood into a test tube and see how quickly it sinks. And mine is like rocket to the bottom. And then they hooked me up to the largest needle I've ever seen in my damn life. Thing was like the culvert you'd see at the side of the road. Lady came at me with this thing and I was like, ah! And then there was like a little 5-year-old kid next to me giving blood. And I was like, I can't look like a coward in front of Francois here. So she was like, you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. And then she like put this, she was like, ka-chunk, ka-chunk, God. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, it was fine. It was good. And then my wife thought this was funny. So she filmed me the entire time while I was sitting there being like,
I feel like you should show
oh,
that.
do you?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, no. It's very humiliating. And she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm good. Anyway, it's the end of my story. I felt very cowardly. So it contains iron atoms, and it binds to oxygen. You have to be careful. It also binds to other things. It will bind to carbon monoxide much more favorably than oxygen. So if you're exposed to carbon monoxide, your body thinks it's carrying oxygen around when really it's carrying carbon monoxide. That is the function of your erythrocytes, your red blood cells. The next type of blood cell most people know about is not your red cells, but your white cells. Yeah. Thank you. These are called leukocytes, from the Greek leuka, which means white. So leukocytes. Like leukemia. Leukemia is cancer of the white blood cells. Nope. It can spread it can spread anywhere. The danger of blood cancers, of course, is that they can spread everywhere because your blood goes everywhere. So blood cancers are very, very, very serious. Yeah. Is cell. Yeah. Site means cell. pretty much exclusively. So these are your white blood cells. Now listen. Yeah.
How do you spell pneumonia?
Pneumonia, though it is sometimes spelled like without it, but correctly it has it because it refers to liquid water, which is like pneumatos. Anyway, okay, so your white blood cells, there's many different types, but they're much larger than red blood cells. But there's far fewer of them. And they're involved in the immune response. Red blood cell, which is not like I just didn't want to write red blood cells. This is just one example. But one example would be what we call phagocytosis, which is... Am I the bro? Am I your bro? Just checking.
Because you're so chill.
Yeah.
I don't. Can you like smell all that?
Okay, so imagine this is a blood vessel, and imagine we have let's imagine we have a mean old SARS-CoV-2 virus, well, COVID-19 virus, but don't worry, you are vaccinated, so your body is ready, or you've had it before, so your body is ready. I've never had COVID, but I've been vaccinated, so my body is ready, and when a COVID vaccine or a COVID virus does come into my body, that's no worries, because I've got here a white blood cell.
Isn't the servo one the 8 one?
That is not a blood cell. That is a virus. That's a virus. And that is a leukocyte. Shh. Quiet. So what actually happens is this. The white blood cell will actually, and we learned about endocytosis in general, what will it do? It will go full Pac-Man on this thing, and it will engulf it. So it will actually bring the virus inside of itself, at which point it can destroy it and destroy itself and destroy all the evidence along the way. So it will actually degrade and destroy the virus. This is what your body does when it comes across a virus to make sure that it doesn't infect you. Yeah. Yeah, so I forgot my school bag at home today, guys. I don't have any of my things. I'm terribly sorry. I'm terribly
Do you
sorry.
have any idea on how I did?
You did well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you did well.
Oh, I know I did shit.
What?
I said I know I did shit.
Don't say shit in my class.
You just said it.
Well, don't do what I do, I guess. But I was quoting it. That's different, right? That's different.
Well, that's
You still got to be careful, right? You got to be careful, but I don't know. No, you don't want to quote every word.
Don't go to
Like on Saturday, a guy called me the C word while I was kicking him out of the restaurant. Not quoting that. Didn't care for that though. All in my face shouting at me.
C-U-C-K or C-U-N-T?
Oh, the latter of those two. Yeah. The NT one, yeah. Yeah, like right in my face. And I was like, okay, yeah, he and I was like, you won't see me on Tuesday. I only work on Saturdays. But anyway. Yeah. But I'm not walking around quoting that because that'd make me uncomfortable.
Was he just being a nuisance?
Yeah, I haven't kicked people out in weeks, and then we had one of our security guards is like a super nice guy, which is great, except then when you you'll be like, hey, can you kick this guy out? And then he just like spends like 8 minutes like talking with him, and then the guy's still there being obnoxious. So I've learned that when the security guard's on, I just have to kick people out, which is fine. I've managed bars for years, but we don't have to do it very often. And then Saturday, 3. And one of them, I had a really funny experience because I've never I've never done this, and I didn't do it on purpose, but there was this guy, and he tried to go into the women's washroom. I think just, he was very drunk, and there was just a big lineup in the men's room. But I was like, what are you doing? Get out! And he's like, what? I'm like, get out of my restaurant. And then he turned to like start talking with his buddy, and then I had a total teacher moment, which I've never done before. I said, oh, I'm sorry, did I say it was social time, or did I say to get out? And then he just turned around and laughed, and I was like, oh. But I've never done that like in restaurant world before. I just totally talked to this guy like he was like a 15-year-old kid.
One time a man just walked in, and I like turned around, I'm cleaning the woman's bathroom, and some man walks in. And I just turned over to him, I was like, why are you in here?
Yeah, no, thank you.
He like looked, he's like, oh, and walked up, but he was older.
I mean,
He was older, but he wasn't old enough to not know what he was doing.
I mean, I will say the eyesight does start to go. I don't know. It could be. But people suck. Like, this guy sucked. I was very unhappy with this guy. But yeah, it was a weird day. I haven't had to kick 3 people out of it. It's not the kind of place. Like, we're expensive. Like, we don't get a lot of, like, dumb people coming to... Like, I've managed the lounge at the Hilton. I'd hire you. But I'll tell you, I'm a fairly miserable boss. I am a fairly miserable boss. I have high standards. We'll finish this up tomorrow, guys. Which way is down? This way? Yeah.
You know what? With Orlando, I don't think you're no worse than corporate. It's what I accidentally.
Like, I think I'm a fair boss. I think I'm a good boss, but I do have high standards.
I'm a good employee.
Oh, I bet. I'd hire you. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah. Do you want to take it today or when? Tomorrow? Tomorrow works for me. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
You know something super cool that happened to me this past
Always.
weekend? Hamilton liked my video.
No!
I'm so
Hey, that's so much
like,
fun!
Guys, I'm so much cooler than
Oh, I
everyone else.
love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that made my day to hear that.
Right?
That's
I was
awesome.
Like, I was so excited.
Your costume was so good. Really good. How we doing? One more. Oh, don't leave me hanging. You left me hanging. You won't leave me hanging. Hey, there we go. What can I do for it?
I almost thought you were slapped me.
No, first of all, I love you. Second of all, I would never slap a kid in the face. So, there are two, because it would be inappropriate and because I get paid to teach, not to...